Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to the Creabea Knitting Podcast Festive Edition. So hi and welcome, my name is Rebecca, I'm a knitter, knitwear designer and podcaster based in Edinburgh, and over the course of December I will be doing my regularly scheduled programming a little bit more regular than normal. So I'm not going to be vlogging every single day, but I will be uploading a weekly podcast episode to the channel instead. So yeah, it should be fun. I've got a busy month of December. I have a wedding to attend to down in Cambridge. I've got some friends, like friend Festive Christmas, also down in London. I'm dog sitting for a week. And then of course there's just all the regular December things like putting up decorations and getting festive. So hopefully I can capture some of those fun parts as well as my regular updates on what I'm knitting and what I'm getting up to. So in this week, I'm at my parents' house. I am looking after Ed and Finn, who are my parents' two dogs, and we're here for a week. So I'll be working mostly, but also hopefully doing some knitting. I will be opening my very first advent calendar. So I have two advents. One is a recycled wool advent and one is a yarn swap advent. So I'll be opening them up and getting started on my projects. I'm also hoping to get started on a festive sweater that I have in mind. So stay tuned to see if that has worked out. And also just updating you on what I'm doing with right now and where things are at with a new design. So we'll see how I like this format. It might be fun, it might be a bit too, I don't know, maybe I don't like it, maybe I decide I don't like it at all. But what I will do is stick with it this week. Do I like the filming? Do I like the editing? Do I like the end result? And if I do, I'll stick with it for the rest of December. And if not, I might go back to just regular sit down and chat podcasts and do them once a week. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope this helps get you a little bit in the festive mood for some of the fun things we get to celebrate in the month of December. So I've come out to our little garden office space to chat a little bit about what's currently on my needles. So I do have a couple of works in progress, but this is the one that has been getting all of my love and all of my attention for the past week maybe. And I'm really loving it, as I am every time with a new design. I get a bit obsessed and I can't wait to keep going with it, and that is how I feel about this at the moment. So the yarn is this. This is Kent DK from Bare Naked Wools, and this is the colour Kelp, which is this like grey brown colour. All their colours are natural colours, and this is sort of the brownie one, and they sent me this yarn to design with. So they reached out a while ago and said, we'd love to send you some yarn for you to design something with, how does that sound? And I thought, that sounds amazing, but also quite scary. And when the yarn arrived, it took a while to arrive, and so I had an idea of what I wanted to make, but I wasn't like 100% sure. And I thought, okay, let's see how we do. And it arrived, and I swatched for what I had in mind, and I wasn't sure I loved it. So I did some more swatching and finally landed on just the most glorious fabric. It was so perfect. And I'm really proud actually, because I think had I been designing, like had I had this in mind, what I would have done is I would have probably just used a different yarn. But what this sort of forced me to do was say, okay, what are the components of this yarn that are really lovely, and how can we turn that into something which will make a great design? So this yarn has a really great definition. It's a very like round and bouncy yarn. It's very, very light, but still quite sheepy. And yeah, I'm going to show you what I've come up with. So let me show you the fabric first, and then I'll show you the construction. So this is the fabric. And this stitch is half brioche, which I believe is the same as for half fisherman's rib. I think they're constructed, like the fabric will look the same, but the stitch, the way you do the stitch is slightly different. So with one stitch you knit into stitch below, and with the other you yarn over. And I'm doing the half brioche version. I've done half fisherman's rug before and I quite like it, but I decided to do it this way. So yeah, this is the right side is this beautiful rib, and the wrong side is this kind of interesting sort of wonky rib. Wonky rib, is that an official term? So I join in the round, and let me see if I can hold this up and show you what it's going to become. It's going to be a zipper sweater. So, oh my goodness, I'm so proud of myself for this. The construction is brand new to me, and I really had to sort of take a step back and think about where do I need stitches to be and how do I get from A to B, and that was just so much fun. It was a lot of rubbing back and trying to work things out, but I'm really beyond pleased with how it's turned out. So there's this big chunky collar, which in this, there we go, in this folded, it's just so squish, but it's also still quite light, so it's not so heavy that it's like, it stays up, you know. And then it's gonna have this drop shoulder design, and then the stitch is pretty, like it kind of runs, oh, knocking the table. It runs from the collar down pretty seamlessly. And then, yeah, it's got these drop shoulders, and now it's attached in the round. And then I will keep going in the round until the body is finished, and then pick up for the sleeves, and the sleeves are going to have some decreases, and it's ready to go. It's not going to be out till February because obviously the testing period, and part of me was worried about it being quite like a wintry garment, but this is so light. This is only my second ball of yarn, and I think I have a good, maybe not 3/4, maybe like 2/3 of it left. So I did the whole collar, the entire back panel, and one front panel with just one ball of yarn. So this is really light, like there's no weight to this at all. So this is what we're looking like. I think this is going to be so wearable. I can just imagine this with like my jacket underneath and zipped up. It's going to look so cozy. I really want a white version or like a cream version, and there is a colour of bare naked wool in Kent DK called Wet Sand, and I think this would look also amazing in that colour. So we'll see how I get on with this one, and maybe as a treat to myself I will buy a sweater's quantity of the Wet Sand colour. I do really think, at first when I saw this I was like, oh, it's quite a pricey yarn. Like, would I normally spend that much money on yarn knitting with it? I'm 100% willing to spend that money on the yarn. So I don't know what that says about me or about the yarn, but there we go. So you can see under here it's joined at the front. So what will happen is once I finish knitting it, I've got a zipper, and I'll put a zipper in here. These bits here are going to be a facing, so on the inside it's all like neat and tidy, and then I'm going to hand sew a zip into it, and I'll make sure, I'm definitely going to make sure that all of that is videoed when I do it, so that it's all nicely like filmed and stuff, so it's not just go and put the zip in, but like there's more support, because I think that's kind of a daunting part of it. Something that's quite interesting is that the stitch changes quite a lot from knitting it flat versus knitting it in the round, and my gauge has definitely, I don't think my gauge has changed, but it's not as neat. I was very neat flat, and I'm not as neat in the round, which is unusual because I tend to find it the other way around. And you can kind of see here, so this part was all done in the round, flat, and it has been steam blocked, and then this little bottom sort of inch or so, like, there we go, it's been done flat in the round, and it's just not as neat and tidy. So I think what I'm going to do is try going down a 1/4 needle size. So I'm on currently 3.5, going to do 3.25, and then once I've got a little bit more, I think I'm going to give it a steam block and see if it's neatened up a little bit, or if I need to go back and change something else. But yeah, that is my current like work in progress. I have a name in mind, but I'm not 100% sure on it yet, so I'm gonna ponder over it for a little while and see. Bare Naked Wools is out of Ohio in the States, and part of me would really love to pick a place in Scotland for the name, of which there's also the same place in Ohio. Does that make sense? So that, because I quite like to pick, I think I like Scottish, like my Dorney is a Scottish name, and then my care sweater, like it's named after my mum, but it's also like a place name in Scotland, and I like the Scottish connotations, so I'd like to keep that, but obviously also make a nod to Ohio. So I'm thinking of that. So if anyone happens to know of a place name, there's a big list. I have a list of places which have a shared name in Scotland and Ohio, and to pick from that list. So we will see. I'm finding it very, very rhythmic. It's definitely not just knit one purl one, but it's quite like a nice, I know people talk about brioche being a very enjoyable rhythmic knit, and this kind of feels like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. And my plan will be to knit up the rest of this ball and then switch, because I think, and then do a sleeve, and then at that point I can write the pattern up and get it sent off to the tech editor. So that is my sweater. I love a festive sweater. Like, I really just love like sparkly things and all those, you know, like a Christmas jumper, but I don't really have that many reasons to wear one. I don't have a Christmas, like a work Christmas party, at home on Christmas Day, like maybe I could wear something there, and then we have like a friend's Christmas in December that I could wear something to. So I don't really want to buy something, because it just won't get worn, like it just won't, yeah, it's just a wasteful. And I don't really want to knit a whole sweater because I don't have time, and I don't really have the desire to do that. It's just not something I want to put time into right now. So I thought what I would do is upcycle a sweater I already have. Now this is completely inspired by some embroidery I saw last week, I guess, on Instagram. I'll put a picture of it here. And ever since I saw that, I have wanted to do this with my own sweater. Now I have a navy sweater, but I don't love the fit of it as much, and I can't really see myself wearing it. So I've taken out a sweater, which I actually wear quite a lot. So the plan is that once I've upcycled it in January, I will downcycle it. I don't know what the word is. So this is a sweater. It is a no frills sweater, kind of. I knit this with a strand of Drops Lima and a strand of kidsilk mohair, and so it's like 15 stitch gauge, I think. So it's a bit chunkier than the no frills sweater, but it's basically a top down raglan, and it's white and fluffy, and I wear it quite a lot. But what I thought I could do is add some embellishments and make it something more suitable for the wintry months. So I guess it's now like the start of December, and it means, you know, I put maybe a couple of hours into this now. It means I've got a festival sweater, like a festive sweater for Christmas, and then I can remove the beading and the things at the end of the year, or like the start of next year. So that's the sweater, that's like my base. Let me talk about what I purchased. So I got a few things. I wasn't really sure how glittery yarn worked, so I basically got all the options. And I've done a few little test little bits to see, firstly, could I take it out as easily as I wanted to? The answer is yes. And secondly, what shows up well on the fabric. So let me start with this one. So this is oh, there we go, Creative Lame, and this is, I think, the colour gold. It's from Rico, and this is 135 meters per 25 grams. It's in this beautiful like gold sparkle colour, and this one's one of the thicker ones, slightly thicker than some of the other ones I have. And oh, this is quite cool actually. It does tell me that if I wanted to make a whole sweater, I would need 14 balls. I don't know if that's what that means, but I'm not going to knit with it anyway. So it is 62% polyester and 38% polyamide. Then I have 3 of the same, and they are all Gold Rush by Linkatex. So this is the ball band. Oh, come on. There we go. And this is 80 meters per 20 grams. And this is 20% polyester and 80% rayon. And I have that in 3 colours. They, once you open them, do not want to stay like all wound up. They just keep unfolding everywhere. So I have this one, which I didn't think I would like, but I actually think I like the best. My camera does not like sparkle. Okay, I'll hold them all up and then I can adjust the focus. So these are the 3 colours I have. So there's a gold, there's like a yellow gold, and there's a silver. And I kind of want to use, definitely the 2 golds, and I'm not sure about the silver. I got the silver as like a consideration, but I don't know if I like the silver. I think I prefer just the golds. And then the final thing I got was this, which is very, very fine. Again, it does not want to stay balled up. This is Anchor Metallic Fine, and 25 grams is 250 meters. It looks like this. And it's very fine. It's like fingering weight fine. And what this is perfect for is attaching some beads. So I also got some beads. These are, I don't know anything about beads. Like I know there's a whole technical element of beads. I don't know what that means. I got 2 types and I definitely prefer these ones. So these are Debbie Abraham's beads in size 8. Quality beads for knitting and crochet. So they are actually for knitting. And they are real little gold sparkly ones. And then I got these as well, which I think are plastic. But I think they're a bit too yellow. So these are the other ones. And they are just a bit like yellow gold, which I'm not sure I like as much. So I've done a few tests. So what I'm going to do is use these together with the beads. And then use the 3 of these and maybe try some of this to embroider like stars and little bits on the sweater. I'm using 2 needles. I'm using just a normal embroidery hook for embroidery needle for the thicker ones, but that hole obviously does not fit through the beads, and so for that one I'm using like just a regular sewing needle, but it's got you can't really tell, it's got a wider eye on it, which is easier to thread the yarn. So I'm gonna pop a Christmas movie on, and yeah, let's see how long this takes. Let's see how I get on with it. My design plan is that I want to start with like heavier, like I'd like to be a bit heavier around the neck and to kind of, as it goes down, become a bit more bare. So like more stars here and then kind of fade out to fewer stars in the body. And depending if I enjoy the process and if I like it, I may also do some around the cuff. I was considering writing on this, so like putting like chain embroidering a word like Merry Christmas, but I decided I want to maybe use this for like New Year's Day and things, and that means this is a bit more versatile. As versatile as a sparkly fluffy sweater can be. So let's see how it goes.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running, there is no way trying. You better loosen your belt. Drinking hot wine by the fire, don't care of anything else. It's Christmas and some kind of love, my friend. I'll pray it will never end. Do you like to be here too? It's Christmas and outside snow's glistening. Just you and me tonight. I'll spend all these Christmas.
Okay, so I've been going for probably like an hour on and off on this, and I've made some pretty good progress. It's definitely slow going, but it's not super slow. So let me show you what I have so far. So I've really focused on the front raglan, and I'm trying to like waterfall it, so like a lot of the detail is up close to the neck and then it kind of fades out, which I think is working. I'm trying to add that detail with beads. I think I'm going to go back and add some more beads. I'm about to finish, about half of it's completely done. The other half, I've just started the threads I'm gonna go back and do the beads, and then to decide if I want it to be over the shoulders and on the back too. I'm thinking I might continue the beads over the shoulders, and on the back just do like a little sprinkle of these, or maybe like a cute something else along the back raglan, maybe like a, I don't know, something else. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. What I'm finding is that the inside is a mess, so I can show you a little bit. This is what the inside looks like. So I'm cutting off quite a long part of the thread and then threading it onto my tapestry needle, and then kind of sporadically going across doing all of the bits in that colour, and then changing to the other colour, and then going to the beads. And I'm kind of cycling through those 3 options, which I think is working quite well. And yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the shoulders, and then the back raglan I'll just do like a little sprinkle of something. Probably no beads, but maybe just a little bit of thread.
Christmas with you. Oh, it's such a charm, got you up in my arm. There's nobody at the door. You said I wish this will never be over. Darling, it's time for your present, come over here. Now it is time to get out in the snow, lighting a light with you. Choirs will sing and the joy bells will ring. Nobody loves you.
So I finished on my festive sweater. It took a bit more time than I expected, mostly because I decided to add an extra embellishment. So I worked on it into the evening and it's done. I've taken some pictures and I thought I would show you what it looks like. So, ta-da! So this is what it's looking like. I decided to go, I'm actually really awkward at height. Okay, so I think you can see it best this way. So what I've done is I've added little stars, little crosses, and these little sort of crisscrosses along with little gold beads all over the front portion of the raglan. The beads go down to about here. And the idea was that it would be quite dense at the top and then sort of fade out along the bottom. I wasn't sure, it's got a loose raglan on me, and I wasn't sure if I should continue this over the sleeves on both sides or leave it this way. And after trying it on, I decided that this is what I love the most. But I did add a little cuff detail too. So I've done a couple of beads and some sparkles on the cuffs. So this is my festive sweater. Oh, I'm very squint. There we go. This is my festive sweater. I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear of this. I have, I probably wear it to knit night for one of my festive nights, and I've got a kind of officey work Christmas party thing, like on Zoom, but still. And I've got festive Christmas with our friends, and I've got Christmas Day here. So I'm gonna have every excuse to be able to wear the sweater, and because it's not like directly Christmas, I think I could also wear it for maybe New Year, or maybe those days between Christmas and New Year when you kind of feel like you should be wearing something glittery. And also it's nice and baggy, so if I decide to eat all the mince pies, then I definitely can. So that's my Christmas festive sweater. Have you done any upcycling? I also really wanted to in the past do like a duplicate stitch and sew something onto it, like a reindeer head or something. So I didn't get around to it this year. Maybe next year that'll be on my to-do list, but I'm really pleased with this one. I think it's so pretty and so elegant. I had every intention of removing these again in January, but we'll see. Maybe instead I'll just knit myself another white sweater. Maybe that's the answer. So yeah, that's my festive sweater. Time to get back to the knitting. So it is the morning of December 1st, which means I get to open my advent. So I've been up this morning, taking the dogs for a nice long walk, and yes, I take you for a nice long walk, I did. And then I'm back, I'm gonna open my advent and see what's inside. So a little recap about my advent situation. So I've got 2 advent calendars. One is a swap and one is a recycled wool advent calendar. So the recycled one, I've already opened the skein for the 25th of December because I wanted to know what it would look like. So if you have the Alterknit Unierse advent and you don't want to know what your skein is, I think they actually might all be different. I'm not convinced they're all the same. but I'm going to show mine. This is the 2050 skein, and it's marled. So what they've done is they've taken cones, show that. They've taken cones that would otherwise be maybe not kept and turned them into, like, marled them together to make advent calendars. So this one's going to go into a blanket. I considered starting the blanket with this already last night, but I didn't do it. I don't really know why, I just decided not to. I'm also going to hold it with a strand of Woolyknit to make like a DK weight blanket. I've got like a white cone of Woolyknit. I should have brought that down, it's upstairs actually, to knit this together with. So I might still cast on with this today, but it's going to depend on what day one looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's a little pack. Let's see. There was some guidance on the inspiration, but it was like their personal Dungeons and Dragons campaign, I think, so it didn't mean anything to me. Okay. Oh my goodness, what a good one to start with. It is bright red. Wow, okay, this is cool. I think that I'm not gonna start with, this is exactly the situation why I didn't cast on. I think I'm not gonna cast on with this. I might see if I can work this in when we get to closer colours, but I think this is gonna be a bit too far apart. There was a suggestion that they could be used for fades. I don't know if that was, like, I don't really know to what extent. Wow, so this one is, again, 3 strands marled together, 2 sort of real orange red and 1 dark red. It's going to be interesting holding this with a strand of white fingering, but I think that's the best way to keep consistency through the blanket. Okay, the second one is from Sarah Knits. Can you see this? Hello, Mr. Ed. Hello. Hi. I see the little one that also wants to look up. Oh. Hey, Finn. Hi. Hi, Fingo. Oh. There's also a very small. Hi. Oh, that's my hair, buddy. That's my hair, buddy. That is my hair. The second one is from Sarah Knits, who's a podcaster, and I will link her podcast down below. And there are a couple of podcasters doing an advent swap. So, okay, I guess I'm going to stand here. There are a couple doing an advent swap. So I sent my swap to Natasha and Petra of Knit Inc, and I got mine from Sarah Green. I feel real sick today. So my plan is to make socks with these, but I do have some which don't have sock weight yarn in them, and this is one of them. This is a BFL mashup, and it's from Knitting in the Creabea, and it has, Sarah's got these really cool stickers, which I think are really cool. Should we see what's inside? Yes. Having a sniff. Oh, it's beautiful. She skeined them up really well. I did not skein them once I cast this up. Wow, so it's a real, I might try and film this later again when the light has come back, but it is just like a beautiful sheepy woolly grey yarn. Yes, I see you. Oh. So I was going to cast socks on today, but I didn't make the packet properly because today is not sock yarn, which is fine, so my socks will be probably get cast on tomorrow, but I can get started on the blanket. And I should probably think of what to do with the minis that aren't sock yarn, because I would still like to do an advent project, and there aren't that many. I think there are maybe 5 or something out of the set. Oh, goodness. That's what happens when I try to vlog. It doesn't go very well. And I've actually just, I'll take this out of the skein. Oh, look at that. It's really beautiful. So yeah, maybe I'll have a little rec. Like, the good thing is that Sarah's put on the front of the packet what they all are, which is really handy because it means I can make a decision before I start on what to knit them with. So I might have another check and see how many of them are sock yarn, how many of them are not sock yarn, and then come up with something else for the non-sock wools. I can't get this back in the skein. I put it in, Sarah made it into such a nice skein, and I've done it into a very wonky little skein again. There we go. Oh, it smells like sheep. Okay, I'm gonna go make some coffee and get to work. and at some point today I will cast on my blanket. Okay, I have about 15 minutes before my next meeting starts, and then I have a lot of meetings today, and I usually can knit through my meetings, especially if it's like something easy. So I do have my sweater, it's joining the round and I can work on that, but I also have cast on my advent, so I'm just casting on now, and this is what it looks like, which is like the most perfect candy cane ever. It's making me feel very festive. So the pattern I'm using for this is loosely based on the Cozy Comfort Throw, by Homespun House, and that one uses a 24 skein advent with 20 grams each. Now I don't have 20 grams of each, I've got 10 grams of each, so I'm casting on about half the number of stitches. It's a paid for pattern, so I won't give away too much, but it's very simple. You cast on X number of stitches, you knit until you've used all your yarn, and then you use an I-cord bind off. So I might still do the I-cord bind off with this, is what I'm thinking, although the idea of doing that makes me want to cry right now, but that's a problem for later. And this is what I'm holding it with. This is the Woolyknit in this colourway. I've got quite a lot of this. I have a whole cone, and this one. So part of me thought, oh no, it's going to be really garish, but actually this is pretty cool. Like, it's a very festive way to get things started. And yeah, I think I'm going to watch a bit of a podcast for the next 10 minutes, get this casted on, and then knit on this through my morning meetings. Of course, I spoke too soon because I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, somebody had gotten into my advent. The rest of the skein was in his mouth. It's a bit damp. But this I'm gonna have to untangle. Okay, we're starting again because I went to the bathroom and I left my knitting on where I was working, and the dog got it, and I've done a bit of an untangling job, but not a very good untangling job. So we now have a couple of little nuggets of it wound up. I do still have the main part of the skein, or the little ball. I have a few like saved strands, and then this is what I could not save. So it's annoying because I wanted every section to be the same width, because it's an advent calendar, but also it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to cast on again and be more careful with where I put it. It's annoying because any other project I wouldn't mind, I just start over, but because it's advent, there's not as much yarn, and I have to be considerate of the yarn. So anyway, I'll start over and learn my lesson not to put stuff, I don't know, not to leave stuff out where the dog can reach it. Okay, so we've made some progress. It is much later in the day, but I've kind of I untangled that chaotic mess during a meeting and then managed to knit the rest of it. But I had a realisation, which is that it's going to be a very small blanket if I stick with my plan, which is fine, but I don't want a small blanket. So I had to pull it all, I only did a couple of rows, but I had to pull it out and cast it back on. And I cast on most of the full number of stitches, so I think I cast on 210 stitches. The pattern calls for a bit more than that. And then I realised once I was knitting that if I just do my single colour for my advent, it's going to be a small blanket. So what I've decided to do is alternate the advent marl colours with some plain colour. So that's kind of, I guess, the right side. So what I've done here is I've done, I guess that's like 4 rows. I think it might be 7 rows I've done. I wove my ends in actually, so I can't even tell where I started. I think I started here. Can't tell. Anyway, I think I did about 7 or 8 rows of the advent colour, and I'm going to do the same in the plain white. So I'm just holding 2 strands luckily I balled off quite a few separately. So I'm holding 2 strands of the Woolyknit double. And yeah, so now it's looking very, very candy cane stripe. But I think that'd be really cute. And then I'll just, hopefully they stay nice and bright and colourful. And we'll see how it looks. It does mean double the amount of knitting, but it does mean twice as big a blanket. So that's fine. I've also pretty much cleared, I've not cleared my needles, but other than my sweater that I'm working on, I'm not working on anything else big for Christmas. I have a pair of gloves I want to make for a Christmas gift. And I think that's it. Maybe a Sophie shawl. So I really pared back what's on my needles for December, and I really want to focus on my one sweater that I'm really enjoying for me, and then my Advent projects, which I've never done before, and I'd love to just power through and see how I get on. So yeah, so that's what we're getting on with. I think it'll make some really good meetings knitting, the plain garter, because this is just really fun, and it'll be portable for the time being. I don't think it will stay portable. We have a trip this weekend. We leave tomorrow. So the day, I think the day this video goes live, we'll be on our way to Cambridge. And so I can comfortably, I think, take Friday, Saturday, Sunday's worth of Advent with me. But I think we've got another trip, I think on the 16th of December, and I probably won't be able to take it by then because I think it'll be much larger by then. So yeah, I'm excited. I also, yeah, I wonder if anyone has any, this is the little mini skein that I got on my other Advent, my yarn swap with Sarah Crean. And if anyone's got any suggestions, I would like to knit this up during December. So if anyone's got suggestions for what to use with my the sock yarns, I think I need to double check. I said the sock yarns I'll do socks out of, but if anyone's got suggestions for what to do with the non-sock yarns, I thought maybe some decorations, or is I on that gnome? I've never knit a gnome before, should I knit a gnome? But I don't have any DPNs with me, so that will not be, that'll happen once I get back to my regular stash. So that's all from me. Happy first day of Advent, and I won't have any more updates on Advent in this sort of vlog podcast episode, but I should have an update on it next. I'll have much more done next time because it'll be a week from now. So I'll try to film some of my opening and like some of the work I'm doing on it. I won't probably open it up every single day. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'll probably film it and decide if I want to show it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying first time doing Advent, and so far super festive. Are you having fun with Advent? Are you doing Advent? Are you knitting something? What are you making? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any suggestions for what to do with my non-superwash, I would love to hear those.
Tonight, it's just you and me tonight. It's just you and me tonight.
That's all from me. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Bye.
I'll spend all this Christmas with you.